this video, I'll break down how to add these really cool paper texture effects to your videos, as well as these really cool like animated paint effects to your videos in Final Cut Pro 10. Now at the time of this recording, this pack is completely free. It's from Creative Flow. The link is going to be down in the description below. So if you're looking for a really cool free pack with like paper effects and paint effects, this is a must-have for all video editors. The link is going to be down in the description below. In this video, I'll just break down the very simple, simplistic ways to use these really cool free effects. So as you can see, these are the effects I'll be showing you how to create in this video. This is of course the clips you saw in the intro, but just give you a basic idea of how to create effects very similar to the ones that you saw in the intro. In order to import these effects, all you want to do is just click on Command I. So just click on Command I and then locate where you have it saved. In this case, I have it saved in my Samsung T7. It could be saved on your desktop or your download. So as you can see, Creative Flow, my Samsung T7, just open up the folder and then the Ultimate Paint Pack. As you can see here, all the different paint assets, paint borders, paint transitions, paper textures. All you would do is open one of these folders and then of course select which one you want. So see you want the asterisk. All you do is click on Import Selected, and that is going to be imported into Final Cut. So simple as that. Just simply import them. Don't put them in any plugin folder or preset folder. They're just simply overlays. So this is the first one we'll go over, these really cool like split screen paper effects. So you can see this is what the video looks like before any of the paper effects are added. So we go ahead and just disable these bottom two. As you can see, this clip is playing right here just at normal speed. It's playing at normal speed. However, if you saw in the intro, the clip was kind of like in stop motion or looked a little bit kind of like laggy, and I'll show you how to create that effect. All you want to do is just hover your plate over here, go to the effects panel, and what you want to do is you want to type in strobe or stop motion. Now this is a pack that's from my digital store. Basically it's posterized time for Final Cut Pro 10. So simply take the stop motion effect, place it on top of your clip, and then just adjust the numbers. Basically the lower the number, the slower it's going to be. So I would say maybe like 3 or 4 is probably recommended. So if you play, all of a sudden, as you can see right there, now the clip is in stop motion. It's basically posterized time effect for Final Cut Pro 10. So let's go ahead and just drag on a paper texture. Let's say we want paper texture 2. Just simply take the overlays and then place it on top of your clip or underneath your clip, wherever you want it. Now what you would do is select on the overlay itself. If you play the video, you realize it's really like sped up, and I'm personally not a fan of that. As you can see, if I play the video, it's just super sped up. All you can do is simply select the clip, click on Command R. Basically that brings up the retiming tool, and then you're just going to drag it out. And then yellow just means like you're slowing it down. So let's drag it to something like maybe 34%. I'm just going to go ahead and simply trim it. So there we go. Basically I just slowed the clip down. Then we go ahead and just to like disable it, just click on Command R so you don't see that time. Then we go ahead and play the video. As you can see now it's slower. So that's basically how you would slow it down. Just simply would take the scale, go ahead and just decrease it, and then you take the position, the Y, the X, of course, just move it around however you want. We can go ahead and increase the scale, something like this, and just kind of place it over your clip. Now, if you want to have it like just with the border just inside the actual clip itself, go over here to all and then just type in draw mask, and then place the draw mask onto the actual paper overlay itself, and then basically just trim, kind of like outline, cut around the outline of the video clip, and then as you can see, there we go. Now the paper texture is basically inside the video clip, or you could group them all together and then mask them. But there you go. That's basically how you have it like just inside the actual clip itself. Now we can go ahead and enable the other two clips, and of course basically just repeat the same step that I did for this one for that one. Simple as that. We go ahead and play. As you can see, this really cool like stop motion effect with this nice paper texture. We can go ahead and let's take on paper texture 1, place it below all the clips, and then just simply place it above the that clip right there, the bottom clip. We're gonna go ahead and trim it down. I'm not gonna slow it down because that's just gonna take a little bit of rendering time, and I don't want to waste too much of your time. But as you can see, now you have this really cool paper texture. So you could speed it up, slow it down, keep it at the same speed. But that's basically as simple as that. And of course you can select on here and change the different blend modes. It's good how it is, but maybe like lighten or screen might look a little bit better. It's not really gonna make that much of a difference, but maybe you just want to adjust, just slightly tweak it. I would say lighten and screen I have found to be the best. So there we go. That looks a lot better. Now let's take one of these like paint borders and then just simply place it like below these two clips. You're basically just placing that on top of clips, below clips. It's just kind of like you're just basically placing them, of course, wherever you want them. And now we have this really cool like split screen paper effect. We'll also have these really nice like paint borders, and you can add text, you can add whatever you want. So we go ahead and play the video. As you can see, that looks pretty cool. And again, you can slow it down, make it faster. It's completely up to you, but that's the basic idea of how I created that, one of the clips you saw in the intro. Now I want to show you how to create that really cool like freeze frame paint effect. So what you want to do is select on your clip, and then we're just going to go back one frame, and we're just going to freeze the last frame. Click on Option F to create a freeze frame. Now we're going to select on the freeze frame, click on Option Command Up arrow. So basically just lifted the freeze frame above the timeline, just so this is a lot easier to do. So let's go ahead and just trim it 1 second, 2 seconds, you know, it just depends on how long you want it. So if we go ahead and play this video, all we basically do is we froze the last frame of that clip. So we play the video, as you can see, so the video is just playing, and then the whole frame just freezes. So just simple as that. Now what you want to do is you want to select the freeze frame and then hold down the Option key, drag up with your mouse to create a copy. Now this copy, we're going to apply a draw mask. So take the draw mask and apply it onto the top clip. Now I'm going to do a very rough job, basically just cutting out the subject, but you want to cut out the subject. The reason you want to end up cutting out the subject is because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to place any like paint effects behind the subject. So you want to basically isolate the subject. You could of course go into like, you know, Photoshop or your Pixelmator or an image cutting tool if you don't want to do this manually in Final Cut. But you really want to make sure you cut out the subject, or else it's just impossible to place like the wings or any paint assets you want behind the subject. So that's really important. Just do a simple cutout. Again, I'm just going to do a very quick job just so you can kind of get the basic idea, and we'll go ahead and just connect the mask, and let's just drag it down. So if we disable the background layer, as you can see just the subject is cut out. So again, so we can place stuff behind the actual subject. Now basically what we're going to do is we're just going to apply different paint assets, whichever one you want to use. So for example, let's say we want to use the wing, and you want to place anything you want like behind the subject below the first layer. That hence why we cut the subject. You see now, if I disable that, as you can see, the wings are not behind the subject. So that's really important. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and minus out, and if you want to do this, you can do this too. Command R and slow it down. If you think it's going too fast, we'll do something like this. It's, you know, of course, all personal preference, so just depends on what you think looks nice. So as you can see, now we basically have these wings kind of just like behind the subject, so we can click on Command R to disable it. Now let's go ahead and we can just take the playhead, and we just go ahead and increase the scale to something like this, and there you go. Now you have this really cool like animated paint wings behind the subject. So if we play the video, as you can see, there we go. These really cool like animated paint wings are just basically behind the subject. Now of course this is all up to you. You can do a whole bunch of different things. You could take an overlay. Let's go ahead and just place this on top of all these clips, and of course select on it, and then, you know, of course go through the scale, the position, you know, rotation, whatever you want. We can go ahead and let's just say we want this one over here. One thing you can do too that I find looks nice is head over to all, and we can type in Gaussian blur. So we place the Gaussian blur onto that layer, onto that like fire layer, and let's just decrease it something like maybe 15. You can add a little bit of blur to it, hence you can create depth. So it just depends on what you think looks good. So you can see that looks pretty cool. This really cool fire and these really cool like paint wings. And then of course we can take something else. We can take this like long paint stroke effect, place it on top of the clip, and then of course just simply trim it. And we can just, simple as that, we can just go again, it's just basically like a rinse and repeat, and then of course just place this over his eyes, or, you know, over it, and whatever you end up wanting to do. It's all personal preference. I'm just giving you a basic idea of how to use these effects. So we play it, and now you have this really cool effect where it just freezes, this really cool fire effect, the wings pop up behind him. I just think that looks really cool. Now let's say you want to actually change the color of the wings. Well, if they're white, you can go over here to all, and then type in colorize. So we take the colorize, place it onto the wings, and then what we want to do is remap white. So we're going to remap the white, click on that because the wings are white, and let's change it to something like a green, and we can just change the color up. And of course you can see, so you can adjust the different colors. So let's say maybe we want to make them red or something like that. So that's basically what you want to do. So you want to remap white, hence the wings are white. You can also adjust remap black and all that kind of stuff, but that's just like a very easy fix. As you can see, there we go. Now the wings are like a nice red color. You could of course do other stuff, but again, I just want to show you the very, very basic idea of how to use these really cool paint effects. Now you may also have seen in the intro, there's this really cool like shake effect, and the screen was zooming in. You could select all of them and create a compound clip and adjust, you know, key from the scale position and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to show you a really simple way. Let's just decrease the timeline just a little bit. And so when you have a lot of layers, that's just a nice helpful tip. Now we're going to add a couple of adjustment layers. So let's go over here to an adjustment layer, and let's just place it above all these layers, and then just simply we're just going to trim that adjustment layer. We're going to go to the beginning of the adjustment layer, place a keyframe on scale or rotation, go to the end of the adjustment layer. We can go back like one frame so we can see what we're doing. Let's increase increase it to 120, and let's change it to 5 degrees. So basically over the duration of that adjustment layer, it's keyframing to 120 in scale and 5 degrees with the rotation. So we go ahead and play the video. As you can see, there we go. Now the whole screen is basically like zooming in and rotating. Other thing you can do is just take another adjustment layer, and let's basically just trim this adjustment layer. So we're going to do something like 6 frames. So you want to place that adjustment layer to 6 frames. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and basically you want to make sure the middle of the adjustment layer is in between the 2 clips. We're going to head over here, and then we're going to go to R and shake. So we're going to head over here to R and shake. So let's go ahead and scroll down until we find it. R and shake. This is from Ryan Nagel. We are going to apply the rumble effect. So take the rumble effect and place it onto the adjustment layer. Now what you're going to do is the adjustment layer is 6 frames. We're going to go to the beginning, take the amount, turn it to 0, place a keyframe. We're going to go to the middle of the adjustment layer, and then let's take this to 60. Then we're going to go forward 1, 2, 3 frames and change the amount back down to 0. So as you can see, I mean, of course you could adjust other stuff too, but all we're doing is we're just keyframing the amount. So 1, 2, 3 at 60, and then 1, 2, 3. So just basically keyframing the amount. So as you can see, if you play the video, it just gives a little bit of impact shakes. I think it's just really cool. It adds more life to the video. So we go ahead and play the video, boom, the whole like screen just shakes, and then these really cool like paint animation come on. You can also go to motion blur, take motion blur, and then place it on top of the adjustment layer just to give, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead, it's just going to add a little bit of blur. I'm not going to do that because that's going to take a lot of rendering time, but you just take the motion blur and just place it on top of the shake effect and the adjustment layer. If you don't want any blur, then you can of course not use motion blur, but motion blur is always helpful, especially when you're doing any kind of animation, just to help smooth it out and add a little bit of blur to it. The last one I'll go over these really cool like paint transitions. Now anytime you have any like these like transitions where they cover the screen, so like a film burn transition, what you want to do is you want to place it on top of your timeline, and then what you want to do is you want to go frame by frame, and you want to find the place right there. You want to find the place where it completely covers the screen. Press M on your keyboard to create a marker, and now you're going to take that place where the marker is and then place it in between the 2 clips. So again, you're just simply finding the place where it completely covers the screen. So if we go frame by frame, it just covers up the screen right there, and then we can transition into the next clip. So there we go. Now you get this really cool like transition, and there we go. As simple as that. It's just a really cool like paint transition. So if we go ahead and play the video, here's what it looks like. There's really cool like paper effects. There's really cool like stop motion paper effects. This really cool like like painting effect, and these really cool transitions. So those are basically like pretty much the base effects. Now there's different like versions, different varieties of those effects, but I think those are just like the fundamental effects. You have these really cool paper effects, borders, paint like drawing on effects, and then you have these really cool transitions. So those are all the things that come in the pack. Of course, there are different versions of it, but those are like the basic stuff that comes in the pack. Definitely go ahead and check it out. It's a really cool free pack by Creative Flow. He also, I think, has a really cool like paper texture that only costs like $50, animated paper texture effect. I haven't personally used myself, but of course you could definitely go ahead and try that out. I've never made a video on Creative Flow's any of his packs. I just thought I wanted to make a video just to show you, first of all, how to use this in Final Cut if you're trying to figure out how to use this in Final Cut, and also just kind of make you aware of this really cool creator. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to him. He's a really cool creator, especially when it comes to mixed media effects. Definitely go ahead and check him out. Anyways, hopefully you found this video helpful and informative. If you enjoy these types of videos, definitely make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for some really cool Final Cut Pro 10 plugins, presets, overlays, transitions, definitely go ahead and check out my digital store. The link is down in the description below. Anyways, I will see you in the next one. Peace.